It's your long lost friend, Edison Sears here, back with our collectibles for one of my classic, mind-boggling CGC returns. We're going to answer the question, is CGC still good? Am I still grading with them? Do I like Pokemon? Did I sell everything? Did I die? You'll find out on this episode. Well, this is just CGC bulk. You know how it is. We grade a lot of bulk here. Sometimes it's good stuff. A lot of the times it's mediocre stuff. We've been doing these for a while now. I always give a recap on turnaround times. I think this order took, I want to say 7 days. And we'll always do the test to see if the cards are dusty and ashy, like in the past. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you kind of know the general gist of what we're going to grade and get back in these returns. Most of like modern full arts and alternate arts, and then a lot of like mid-era stuff. Let's get into it. The first card, Umbreon V. This is, I apologize if the lighting is not great. Looks like it's not zooming too well, but this is just a VMAX Climax character rare. We graded quite a bit of VMAX Climax. Oh, and this is going into like the alternate arts, the Machamp V. This is just really sick artwork. It's in Astral Radiance English, but this was one of the cards, one of the really nice alternate art cards that has come out. Alternate arts in general have just been like a breath of fresh air. These are so sick, and I'm really happy to grade those and collect those because they also seem to do well. They're pretty safe purchase overall. Oh, this one is so sick. A Wooper Delta Species Reverse from EX Dragon Frontiers. I picked this up at Anime Matsuri in Houston. I was there helping a friend with the event. There wasn't a lot of Pokemon vendors. It was mostly anime. But there was one booth that had like a binder. I picked this up from it for, I forget the exact amount, maybe like $4 or $5. But it was mint. And if you've seen in the past or have graded this stuff yourself, it's actually kind of tough to find the reverses in super mint condition, like gen mint condition. I get a lot of 859s. This is insane to me. A CGC Pristine 10 in a car like that, it is awesome to come by. I love my Delta Species and I love my reverses, so it's that nice mix. More 10s, some Kingdra from, that's VMAX Climax. Yeah, we graded a little bit of, I shouldn't say all of them. I didn't buy all of them. I tried to stick with ones that I thought would be more popular. Gengar from Dark Phantasma. That just got released actually in Lost Origin. VMAX Climax, Galarian Articuno. And if you see, it's actually illustrated by Saito, who is going to be at the Baltimore Regionals. I think this video will come out before I go to that. I am planning to participate and like actually play in the regional and then also get some stuff signed, meet up with people. But yeah, that's another update on like what you can expect from this channel. I'm going to be traveling to more events throughout the year and this upcoming year to play Pokemon TCG trade and hopefully I'll get to meet more people that way. 9.5, this is kind of like the lowest grade you really want to get on the VMAX Climax. The 9s, you'll almost certainly lose money trying to sell. You might be able to squeak by $1 to $2 on top after everything, but 9.5 is minimum, and then you're really hoping for the 10s to pay off for multiple 9.5s. That's just kind of the cycle and the system that we're in. 9.5 Gengar, and there actually are some exceptions to this. We'll see them a little bit later on, but Gengar might be one of those exceptions, and I think Charizard is another one of those exceptions that even the 9.5s are still pretty solid in terms of pricing. 9.5 Hisuian Arcanine. I think a lot of these are going to come back as 9.5s. And for more updates in my life, I am taking some classes this fall. And then kind of like why I haven't really done videos is I haven't really been buying much Pokemon. Like we've been indexing pretty hard into comic books. I have a lot of comic books at grading now. Oh, and these are the Charizards I was talking about that are pretty decent, even in 9.5. These are still like over $30 a piece, which is really crazy when you consider the price of them raw and grading. That's really good. And then the 10s are like, this is a solid card. The problem is like, I hate grading too many of one thing. Like I have so many other Charizards already that are just kind of sitting around. They are slow movers, but they're pretty consistent movers, and there's a lot of sales history to back them up. And then I think this 110 will probably pay off maybe 10, 15 copies of them raw. So it really is worth it. This one's a sick one, Mimikyu V Alt Art from VMAX Climax. Yeah, overwhelming amount of 9.5s, but it's still kind of tough to get the 10s. We're not getting nearly as many as I was hoping. I was really hoping to. Well, if I forget how long ago this was, but when VMAX Climax came out, I knew people that were sending in tons, and the 10 ratio was so ungodly high with CGC. I want to say you were looking at maybe a 60% 10 ratio, and now that the set's a little bit older, I think the quality control in Japan has gone down. Oh, and then into some vintage. Rayquaza C, or Cynthia's Rayquaza, Beat of the Frontier 9.5. That's a solid card. I mean, 9.5 in these cards is phenomenal considering the age and the fact that we're getting 9.5s in ultra modern stuff that came out less than a year ago. To pull a 9.5 in a card that is 13 years old now, can't be snoozed. Like, that's amazing. These are probably, I sent a bunch of legend pieces. I was trying to finish up my binder set, so I was just purchasing the stuff en masse, and picking out the stuff that I thought was really nice to send in for grading, and the stuff that was sold as near mint but not great. Just putting in my binder. So these are the copies that were actually super nice. Here we got 9.5s, most of it, and because I was just buying this stuff in like all the quantity that I could at a time, I don't think I even got sets. So I think a lot of this stuff is just broken up randomly. Quite a bit of 9.5s. This is the Lugia top piece in a 10. What's super important to note about this is it's the unlimited version. I forget the exact event. I might throw it up on the screen. But the unlimited version of this piece is extremely rare compared to the regular set one, which only came in first edition. Yeah, that's the point. I'll try to figure out where you got those. 9.5 in the first edition top, and then 9.5 in the first edition bottom. So that's really nice to have at least one complete set of legend pieces. And keep going. Regigigas 9, Hail Blizzard. And, these cards aren't that expensive, but they're really beautiful. And I just sold some black and white shinies today. Not shinies, full arts. I don't even know if I made any money. I probably lost money selling them. But it was a pretty fair offer, especially compared to the comps. But these cards are incredibly expensive, mint raw in Japan, and there just isn't enough demand in the Western market to justify buying these to grade. But for me personally, they look astounding. They're really beautiful arts. And continuing, just good arts. 9.5 Beedrill V. Again, one of the good alternate arts. This is a card you really hope that you get that gamble and get the 10s in. But we got double 9.5. 9.5 in the Regigigas. That would have been this is probably a monster card in a 10. I can only imagine how low population that is in P.S.A. Nidoking Flight of Legends. This is EX Fire Leaf Green in English. Just sick artwork. Again, grading that mid-era stuff that I really enjoy. Ooh, a 10 in the Flight of Legends Nidoking. Very few. I don't even know how many EX era 10s I've graded with CGC. 9.5 in the Slowking. This is just a great artwork. This is like a whole line. If you ever look into this era of cards, a lot of these third evolution Pokemon, you'll see the actual item you need to evolve them in the photo itself. So you have King's Rock there. I think it's called King's Rock. Oh, and this is a fantastic one. Slowking, same exact card from Heart Gold Collection, which is Heart Gold Soul Silver in English, but it came back as a perfect 10. Those are just great to come by. I don't even know how many. We'll see how many perfect 10s I get, but I'm going to guess it was quite low. But yeah, perfect 10 and mid-era stuff, especially when I was considering, I was hoping more perfect 10s, or 10s in general with VMAX Climax to get that back. This is a great artwork of Giratina. I tried to be a lot stricter too. I noticed that I was kind of slacking a bit on my pre-grading for that mid-era stuff. So overall, I tried to just send in stuff that I was pretty confident would be a 9 or above. But this is a really nice Arita artwork. If I were to go to an event and Arita was signing, this is probably one of the ones I would consider getting signed. I would love to have it made out to me with maybe like a Piplup sketch on the front. Eevee in a 10, so some VMAX Climax mixed in. All right, one more perfect 10. Damn, so a 10 and a perfect 10, pretty good. Ooh, these are cards you really need to get a high grade. These are, you're hoping 9, 5, 10 all day on the Pikachus. Just pack fresh Japanese getting 9s. Maybe I didn't inspect those well. I think in general, the more modern stuff I'm more forgiving with, like inspecting, because I assume it's going to be mint plus. But yeah, every now and then you do get those 9s, and I have to be better with that. And then another mid-era 10, this Blaziken. But yeah, that's it for this box, and then we would have one more kind of smaller box to go through. Let's just do all 3 cards at once. I picked these up at I forget what the event was. I don't think it was Collecticon. It might have been Collecticon that I bought these. Just 3 Weiss Shorts Mob Psycho SPs. I'm a massive Mob Psycho fan. It's one of my favorite animes that I've ever seen. So yeah, I would love to collect all of these because it's a relatively small set of SPs that you would go after. But yeah, I got these graded. I have, if you've seen the show. If you haven't seen it, the characters don't really make much sense to you. But this one's sick. This is probably my favorite of the cards, and it came back to 10. So I mean, that's what collecting has to be about. You just get the stuff you like, slabbed, or collect what you like, even raw. If I remember, this is all a group of EXs that we submitted together. Some of this stuff was picked up at Collecticon Dallas. Actually, I think a good amount was, and then some of the other stuff might have been from like some more smaller local conventions. But EX Eoxys, Manectric, and a 9. Meganium EX and an 8. Yeah, some of these, I think I just held out on submitting for a while because I thought they would be lower, like 7.58. Yeah, 7.5. I think I'm surprised by the 9 in the Manectric. Also the 9 in the Metagross, I think. Because I can't remember if these were sold as light play or near mint. But, I mean, 9 in this era. Ultra rare is really solid. 7.5. The 7.5s are you're probably breaking even. But even then, like, I still think that the 9s in this stuff is so cheap. Like, EX 9s are maybe less than $100 for a lot of them. And I really do think, like, if I had just disposable income where I could purchase anything I want and sit on it, that is something I would definitely look towards. Scissor from Aquapolis. This was from a large binder that I had purchased. It was at the anime convention. It was sold to the person that I was working with, and I ended up buying the binder from him. And it contains stuff like this. We'll see a couple more e-reader hollows. We have the Scissor, the Doug Trio. Well, I never did a video on that binder either. I sent off 100 cards from that, like 80 cards from that binder to get graded with P.S.A. at the quarterly special. Well, not quarterly. It was just like an $18 special. And then the rest of the stuff I have raw sitting in binders. And then some stuff I sent in the CGC. Same thing from that binder. A Kingdra Neo Genesis First Edition. Arbok from Expedition. I mean, 8 to 8.5 are pretty solid grades, especially in the e-reader stuff. And the First Edition Neo. That stuff is kind of ludicrously. I don't want to say ludicrous. For how expensive the packs are to open, the hits are pretty fair. But yeah. Okay, and then this, we'll see a couple of these. We'll see the Japanese ones right after. I purchased this the same anime event, just a Charizard EX. Kind of rough condition. You could see the edge wear throughout. I thought this was maybe had a chance at a 7, but I priced it pretty accordingly for what I was willing to kind of gamble on it. Came back a 6.5. This is a card. I always edit the price, the kind of the expected value for this stuff on the screen. I was surprised to see that this card was like over $400 in a 6. But yeah, that should be good. I'm hoping this will sell relatively fast. I need to sell some of the bigger cards that pay off the overall grading. That's just how these go. And yeah, as I just mentioned, we're going to see some more Japanese copies too. So, and I guess another distinction, if you're really curious about how this stuff worked, the Japanese version is considerably cheaper, but that's also largely because the Japanese version of the 3 starters comes in decks. So it's just a deck, comes with the EX and then a bunch of other cards. So you're kind of just guaranteed 1 copy, so you buy that. English is the ultra rare from the set. But yeah, we graded quite a bit of the Japanese. 6.5 is a little bit lower. I think these were purchased as a State B, and I'm hoping State B translated to light play, so 7 to 8. But a lot of them were rougher, and the nicer ones that we had came back 6.5s, if that's indicative of anything. Garchomp 9 from Battle Rain. I think this is an Astral Radiance. It's just a really sick Cynthia card. This is one of those ones that you're really hoping for higher because it's that ultra modern stuff. Yeah, you really don't want to see 9s in ultra modern Japanese, which is probably just, again, at my fault. I didn't inspect it well. 9 favor Rayquaza VMAX. A 10 in that same card. I'll just throw it in the front. And then a 9-5 in the Umbreon. We showed this to start the video, and I guess it's fitting we'll end it with that. But yeah, that was it. A pretty decent CGC sub. I think a lot of good value here. I graded some personal stuff too. But yeah, these are always fun to do. This will probably be, as I mentioned, before I go to Baltimore Pokemon Regionals. Hopefully, I'll get a good amount of stuff signed. I'll meet people. I'll trade some stuff. And I really do hope I do well in the actual tournament. And this will probably be the start of more videos on the channel. So as always, thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice one. Check out the store in the description below if you ever want to see anything you like or support me in any way. You don't have to. I'm kind of indifferent, but if you do, I would appreciate it. Thanks.